Sleep is not optional for libido. It's the maintenance cycle for your sexual health system. Confidence is the soil that libido grows in. Don't let filters poison the roots. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had your Wi-Fi drop out during a Zoom call, a stream, or a moment when you really needed it to work? The bars are there, the router's humming, but the signal just doesn't connect. Frustrating, right? Now think of your libido like that, a signal, one that's supposed to move smoothly from your brain to your body, from interest to arousal, from emotion to energy. But lately, more and more people, especially healthy people, feel like that signal has weakened or disappeared altogether. It's not just a hormone problem. It's not always aging. Often, the issue is hidden in plain sight. It's in your hands, your pockets, or your bedroom. It's your relationship with modern technology. Smartphones, screens, streaming, social media, porn, blue light, algorithms, all of it affects libido. Not metaphorically, but physiologically, at the level of blood flow, neurotransmitters, hormone rhythms, and brain wiring. So in this episode, we're going deep. I'll walk you through 6 major ways our digital habits sabotage sexual health, all backed by evidence, and I'll give you practical strategies to fix them. Because just like with a router, sometimes the best fix is a reset. We are more sedentary than any other time in human history. The average adult in a developed country spends over 7 hours per day looking at screens, and a huge chunk of that time is spent completely still, sitting. The consequences of that go far beyond stiff hips and poor posture. A 2020 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine examined dozens of studies on physical activity and sexual function. The results were clear. People who exercise regularly, especially with aerobic activity like walking or jogging, showed marked improvements in all measures of sexual health. Men report better erectile function, more desire, and more stamina. And women report higher arousal, stronger orgasms, and more satisfaction. Now here's the contrast. In a large-scale study published in BMC Urology, men who reported spending 5 or more hours per day watching TV or a computer screen were 3 times more likely to experience erectile dysfunction when compared to men who spent less than 3 hours a day on screens. This isn't just a coincidence. Sitting has a few direct effects on your sexual system. First, it reduces circulation, especially in the pelvic region. Good erections and sexual sensitivity rely on healthy blood flow. When you sit for long periods, blood pools in the lower limbs and slows elsewhere, including the genitals. Second, it reduces testosterone. Studies have shown that sedentary men tend to have lower testosterone than active men, even when body weight is controlled. And third, it crowds out libido-positive activities, movement, sunlight, novelty, social interactions, and physical touch, all of which activate sexual desire on both hormonal and physiological levels. Even phone proximity may matter. A clinical study found that men with ED carried their turned-on phones for 4.4 hours per day, compared to just 1 hours a day in healthy men. That's not proof of causation, but it is suggestive. So what are some tips to reboot? First, stand or walk every 30 to 60 minutes. Even 2 to 3 minutes improves circulation. Second, do light cardio daily, brisk walking or biking, anything that gets blood moving. And lastly, designate screen-free zones at home, especially in your bedroom and the dinner table. The body isn't meant to sit and scroll. Desire thrives in motion, not in stillness. Now let's move into the mental and emotional side of libido. We all know that social media can impact mood, but the real cost might be your self-image and your sexual confidence. Multiple studies, including a 2020 review in BMC Psychiatry, have shown that excessive social media use is strongly associated with increased anxiety, depressive symptoms, lower self-esteem, and poor sleep quality. Every one of those things, a known libido killer. Arousal doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's not just biology. It's about how we feel about ourselves, about our partners, about whether we're desirable, relaxed, safe, and confident. In one experiment, participants who scrolled through idealized body images, think fitness influencers, filtered selfies, reported significantly greater body dissatisfaction after just a few minutes. That effect was especially strong in women, but also present in men. Why does that matter? Because sexual confidence is a key ingredient in sexual desire. When you feel good in your skin, you're more open, relaxed, and engaged during intimacy. When you feel inadequate, you go into shutdown mode. One study found that women with higher body self-esteem reported significantly better sexual satisfaction. That includes more frequent orgasms, higher desire, and greater comfort initiating sex. By contrast, women with body dissatisfaction were more likely to avoid sex, to feel distracted or anxious during intimacy, and to report lower emotional connection. And yes, men feel this too. Social media promotes unattainable body ideals, six-pack abs, alpha male confidence, constant performance. This creates invisible pressure, which leads to performance anxiety, which can tank desire. And the paradox? The more disconnected people feel from real intimacy, the more they scroll. It's a cycle. So what are some tips to reboot? First, curate your feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Second, follow creators that promote realistic, diverse, body-positive content. And lastly, replace 15 minutes of scrolling with direct eye contact and conversation with your partner. Confidence is the soil that libido grows in. Don't let filters poison the roots. So let's talk about something that a lot of people use and few talk about honestly: pornography. This isn't about morality, it's about neurobiology. Modern internet porn is uniquely powerful. It offers endless novelty, an infinite scroll of sexual variety and intensity. That's something your evolutionary wiring was never designed to handle. And the brain responds big time. Watching porn releases a surge of dopamine, especially in the nucleus accumbens, the same reward center activated by addictive drugs. But with each use, the novelty factor begins to wear off and the brain adapts. This is called tolerance. You need more extreme, more novel, or more specific content to get the same level of arousal. A clinical review in behavioral science has called this the arousal shift. Over time, real-life sex, which is emotionally rich but less extreme, starts to feel flat, less stimulating, even boring. In a multi-country study of over 20,000 men aged 18 to 35 in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, researchers found that 21% of men in that age group reported erectile dysfunction. That's shockingly high. And the strongest predictor of ED, problematic porn use. Even when adjusting for general health, relationship status, and mental health, high-frequency porn users were significantly more likely to report low arousal with partners, difficulty climaxing, and loss of interest in real-world intimacy. So some tips to reboot. First, start small. Try 2 porn-free days per week and observe your mood, energy, and connection. Additionally, during partnered intimacy, focus on touch, scent, and voice, not fantasy scripts. And lastly, if you've been trying increasingly intense content to feel aroused, it might be time for a longer reset, 30 to 60 days. This isn't about guilt, it's about neuroplasticity and your ability to choose the inputs that shape your desire. And last but not least, let's talk about sleep. Sleep might not seem like a sexy topic, but it is the hormonal foundation of libido, and modern tech is quietly destroying it. Our phones, laptops, and tablets, they all emit blue light, which suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your brain that it's nighttime. A systematic review in Chronobiology International found that blue light exposure before bed not only delays sleep onset, but also reduces deep sleep and REM sleep, both of which are essential for hormonal repair. Now here's where it gets serious. A JAMA study in 2011 showed that healthy young men who were sleep restricted to just 5 hours per night for 1 week had a 10 to 15% drop in testosterone levels. That's the equivalent of aging 10 to 15 years in just 1 week. Low testosterone in men leads to reduced libido, poor erections, irritability, and fatigue. In women, poor sleep disrupts estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol rhythms, leading to more anxiety, lower desire, and mood instability. And here's the worst part: sleep debt is cumulative. If you've been chronically undersleeping for months or years, your sexual function might be paying the price, even if your labs look normal. So what are some tips to reboot? First, cut out all screen use 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Second, if you must use a device, use night mode or wear blue blocking glasses. Next, you want to aim for around 8 hours per night of consistent sleep, even on weekends. And lastly, in the morning, get natural sunlight exposure. This resets your internal clock and improves testosterone regulation. Sleep is not optional for libido. It's the maintenance cycle for your sexual health system. Now let's bring it home. Your libido isn't broken. It's just overloaded, fragmented, disconnected. Technology has given us amazing tools, but without limits, they begin to reprogram the nervous system. They dull sensation, short-circuit arousal, replace connection with convenience. But your body is still wired for pleasure, for desire, for intimacy. You don't need more pills or more stimulation. You need to clear the interference and reclaim your signal. So here are 6 ways to boost your libido in a digital world. First, move daily. Even light cardio improves blood flow and arousal. Next, reduce screen overload. Cut your total screen hours by 20% this week. Your body will feel it. Third, clean up your media diet. Stop following content that makes you feel inadequate. Fourth, audit your arousal. Where's it coming from, fantasy or connection? Fifth, sleep like it matters because your hormones depend on it. And lastly, be more physical more often, not just sexually, but with hugs, cuddling, dancing, holding hands. Because libido isn't just about sex, it's about aliveness. And that's something you can absolutely get back. And as always, I hope you appreciated this content and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.